I wasn't supposed to hear them. That's what made it worse. I'd come home early from my doctor's appointment, came in through the back door, heard voices in the library, my 3 children, Robert, Jennifer, Michael. I was about to announce myself when I heard my name. "Mom's not going to last much longer," Jennifer said. "Dr. Morrison said stage 4, 6 months maximum." My hand froze on the doorknob. Stage 4 what? Dr. Morrison had told me I had arthritis, scheduled a follow-up in 2 weeks. Nothing about cancer, nothing about 6 months. "Are you sure?" Robert's voice, my eldest, 48 years old, CEO of nothing, living off dividends from my company. "Positive. I saw the medical records myself when I visited last week." She'd rifled through my papers, looking for my diagnosis, looking for my death sentence. 6 months. Michael, my youngest, 42, the charmer, the one who smiled while picking your pocket. "That's not so bad. We can wait 6 months." "Can we, though?" Jennifer again. "I'm 3 months behind on the marina fees for the yacht. The bank's threatening to repossess. I need money now." "Take a loan against your inheritance," Robert suggested. I tried. The bank won't approve it without proof of death. "Then we need Mom to die faster." Silence. Long. Heavy. Then Michael laughed. "We can't exactly kill her, Jenny. I'm not suggesting murder. I'm suggesting acceleration. She's 75, sick, weak. If she happened to fall down the stairs." Jesus Christ, Jennifer. "I'm not saying we push her. I'm saying accidents happen, especially to elderly cancer patients on pain medication." "You're talking about killing our mother." "I'm talking about accepting the inevitable. She's dying anyway. Why should we suffer while we wait?" Robert was quiet. Then, "How much do we each get?" My heart stopped. "The estate's worth approximately $50 million, Jennifer said. "Split 3 ways, that's $16.6 million each. Minus taxes," Michael added. "Still over $10 million each. Enough to solve all our problems." "My problems cost more than $10 million, Robert said. "Then don't gamble away your inheritance like you did your trust fund." "Shut up, Jennifer." "Both of you shut up," Michael interrupted. "We need to be smart about this. If Mom dies suspiciously, there'll be investigations, autopsies, questions. We can't afford that." "So, what do? We wait, be patient, visit more, pretend to care. And when she goes, we grieve appropriately. Then we collect." 6 months, Jennifer said. "I can last 6 months." "We all can," Robert agreed. "For $50 million, we can last 6 months." They clinked glasses, toasting my death, my children, my flesh and blood. I backed away from the door, walked to my car on legs that barely held me, drove, didn't know where, just drove. Eventually ended up at my lawyer's office, Martin Fisher, 78 years old. Known him for 40 years, trusted him completely. "Eleanor, what's wrong?" I told him. Everything. The conversation, the toast, the 6-month timeline. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he poured 2 glasses of scotch. "Those ungrateful bastards. I need to know, do I have cancer? Did Dr. Morrison tell Jennifer something he didn't tell me? Let me call him." Dr. Morrison confirmed what I already knew. No cancer, arthritis, some high blood pressure, normal 75-year-old issues. "Then why does Jennifer think I'm dying?" Martin made another call, came back grim. "Jennifer accessed your medical records illegally 3 weeks ago, but she didn't access your records. She accessed Eleanor Hutchins's records. Same hospital, similar age, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. She got the wrong file and didn't bother to verify, just assumed." "Why would she assume I had cancer?" "Because she wanted you to, needed you to. $16.6 million is a powerful motivator for magical thinking." I sat with that. My daughter hadn't just wished for my death. She'd invented it, created it from a clerical error and desperation. What do you want to do? Martin asked. I want to know if they meant it, if they'd really celebrate my death, if they'd really spend my money without a second thought. They're your children. Of course they didn't mean it. You don't know that, neither do I. So what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting I die, on paper, and we watch what they do. Martin stared at me. Eleanor, you're talking about faking your death. I'm talking about giving them what they want. 6 months, a funeral, an inheritance, and I'm talking about watching from the shadows, seeing who they really are when they think I'm gone. That's insane, vindictive, brilliant. All of the above. Will you help me? He thought about it, swirled his scotch, finally nodded. Yes, but on one condition. If this goes south, if they turn out to be decent people who grieve genuinely, you come back. You tell them the truth. You don't torture them. And if they're not decent, then we burn their lives to the ground. Deal. My name is Eleanor Hutchins. I'm 75 years old. I built a pharmaceutical company from nothing, took it public in 1998, made my first 100 million by 50, my first billion by 60. I married once. Thomas Hutchins, good man, terrible businessman, died of a heart attack in 2007, left me widowed at 59. We had 3 children, Robert, Jennifer, and Michael. I loved them, gave them everything, private schools, Ivy League educations, trust funds, jobs in my company when they couldn't find employment elsewhere. Robert became VP of marketing, made $180,000 a year to show up at meetings and nod. Jennifer was director of communications, $150,000 to write press releases nobody read. Michael was special advisor to the CEO. I $200,000 to have lunch with potential investors and smile. They were mediocre employees, but they were my children. I kept them employed, kept them comfortable. Their trust funds were substantial. Each received $5 million at 25. Robert gambled his away within 3 years, horse racing, bad poker, worse, stock picks. Jennifer spent hers on lifestyle, designer clothes, luxury cars, a yacht she couldn't afford to maintain, membership at exclusive clubs where she could pretend to be wealthier than she was. Michael invested his in a tech startup that collapsed in the dot-com bust, lost everything, asked for more. I said no. Mom, I need capital. I have another opportunity. You had your opportunity. You lost it. Figure it out yourself. But you have billions that I earned, not inherited, not given, earned. So I should just struggle? Yes, that's what builds character. He stopped talking to me for 6 months after that. Eventually came back. Apologetic, charming, asking for a job. I gave it to him because he was my son, and I was weak. That weakness cost me. Over the years, I loaned them money, paid off their debts, covered their mistakes, enabled their mediocrity. And they resented me for it, resented that I was successful, that I was self-made, that I hadn't just handed them an empire. They wanted my money, but they hated that I'd earned it. And now they wanted me dead so they could finally have it. The plan was simple. Stage a death, create documentation, hold a funeral, watch. Martin handled the legal paperwork, filed a death certificate, forged Dr. Morrison's signature, created an obituary, contacted the funeral home. I handled the physical staging, moved to a hotel under an assumed name, cut my hair, dyed it gray-white instead of silver-white, wore different clothes, became invisible. The death date was set for 3 weeks from my eavesdropping discovery. February 14th, Valentine's Day. Ironic. Martin called my children with the news. I'm sorry to inform you that your mother passed away this morning, peacefully, in her sleep. I listened on speakerphone, heard their reactions. Jennifer cried, convincing sobs. Oh, God, oh no, we knew it was coming, but oh, God. Robert was silent. Then what happens now? There will be a funeral. Saturday, then reading of the will. How long until we can access the estate? Robert, Jennifer's voice scandalized. Mom just died. I know, but we have bills, obligations. I need to know the timeline. Typically 6 to 8 weeks for probate. That's too long. It's the legal requirement. Can we access funds before then? Against the inheritance? I'll see what I can do. Michael finally spoke. This is surreal. Mom's really gone? Yes, Michael, I'm sorry. I should have visited more. She knew you loved her. Did she? I wonder. That gave me pause. Michael sounded genuinely sad, almost regretful. Maybe he'd be different. Maybe he'd grieve honestly. I was wrong. The funeral was Saturday. I watched from a car across the street. Dark sunglasses, hat, scarf, anonymous mourner. 300 people attended. Business associates, employees, society friends, people who'd known me for decades. My children stood at the front. Black suits, solemn faces, perfect performances. The eulogies were beautiful. Robert spoke about my business acumen, Jennifer about my strength, Michael about my generosity. All lies, beautiful, public lies. After the service, I watched them mingle, accepting condolences, hugging distant relatives, playing grieving children to perfection. Then I watched them leave together, 3 cars, Robert's Mercedes, Jennifer's BMW, Michael's Aston Martin, all cars I'd helped them buy, all cars they could barely afford to maintain. They didn't go home, they went to Jennifer's yacht, the one she was 3 months behind on. I couldn't follow onto the boat, but I had cameras. Martin had installed them weeks earlier, hidden, sophisticated, streaming to my hotel room. I watched them pop champagne. To Mom, Robert said, may she rest in peace and leave us in wealth. They drank, laughed, celebrated. 16.6 million, Jennifer said. Each. Can you believe it? I can believe it, Michael said. I've been counting on it for years. When does the will reading happen? Monday. Martin said Monday. And we're sure we're getting equal thirds? That's what the will says, equal distribution. Unless she changed it, Michael said. They all froze. She wouldn't have, Robert said. Would she? She was angry at me about the yacht, Jennifer admitted. Last time we talked, she said I was irresponsible. She said that to all of us at some point, Robert said. Doesn't mean she disinherited us. We'll find out Monday. Monday came. Martin called them to his office. I watched via hidden camera, saw them sitting, nervous, pretending to be sad. Martin read the will, standard language, assets, liabilities, distribution. To my children, Robert, Jennifer, and Michael, I leave my estate in equal thirds, $16.7 million each, minus applicable taxes. They tried not to smile, failed. However, Martin continued, there are conditions. Their smiles froze. What conditions? Robert asked. Your mother established a trust. The money will be distributed in increments, $1 million per year for the next 16 years. This ensures long-term financial stability and prevents reckless spending. A trust? She never mentioned a trust. She established it 6 months ago, updated her will accordingly. We don't want a trust. We want the money now. Unfortunately, that's not possible. The trust is irrevocable. Irrevocable? Yes, I cannot modify it. Even with your mother's death, the terms stand. Jennifer stood up. This is bullshit. We're adults. We can manage our own money. Your mother disagreed. She had no right. She had every right. It's her money, was her money. Now it's trust money, managed by me as trustee. You? You're managing our inheritance? Yes. I'll distribute $1 million per year to each of you. Adjusted for inflation? Starting next month. 1 million is nothing. My yacht payment alone is 70,000 a month. Then perhaps you should sell the yacht. I will not sell my yacht. Then you'll need to find another income source. The trust terms are clear. 1 million per year, that's all. Robert was calculating. 1 million per year. For 16 years, that's only 16 million. We're supposed to get 16.7. The .7 million covers trust management fees and administration costs. You're stealing from us. I'm following your mother's wishes. Our mother is dead. She doesn't get a say anymore. Martin looked at them, cold, disgusted. She gets exactly one say, the final one, and she said you get 1 million per year. Take it or contest it. But if you contest, the trust reverts to charity. You get nothing. They glared, fumed, but they left. I watched them storm out, watched them regroup in the parking lot. A trust, Jennifer spat. She put us in a fucking trust like we're children. 1 million a year isn't enough, Robert said. I owe 2 million to various casinos. I needed the full inheritance to clear my debts. I'm behind on everything, Jennifer said. The yacht, the house, the car. I needed that money to catch up. So what do? Michael asked. We spend what we have, Robert said. Live like we're going to get the full amount. The banks will loan us money against the trust. Will they? They'll have to. We're rich now, technically. We're trust fund babies now. That's what we are. Better than nothing. They scattered, went their separate ways, and I watched them spend. The cameras stayed active. The private investigator I'd hired stayed busy. For 6 months, I watched my children destroy themselves with money they didn't fully have. Robert borrowed $5 million against his trust distribution, used it to pay off gambling debts, then immediately gambled more, was back in debt within 3 months. Jennifer bought a second yacht, bigger, more expensive, could barely afford the crew to staff it. Threw parties, invited celebrities, tried to buy her way into high society. Michael bought a penthouse in Manhattan, $18 million. Put down $3 million from a loan. Couldn't afford the mortgage. Started renting it out on Airbnb to cover payments. They were bleeding money, pretending to be billionaires on millionaire budgets. And they didn't grieve. Not once. Not in 6 months. They never visited my grave, never held memorial services, never spoke about me except to complain about the trust. I watched them forget me, replace me with money, become exactly who I'd feared they were, and I planned my resurrection. The shareholders' meeting was scheduled for August, 6 months after my death. Annual review of company performance, board elections, executive compensation. I owned 60% of the company through a personal holding structure. The board had been managing in my absence. Doing well, stock was up 14%. Robert, Jennifer, and Michael each held 2%, inherited from their father. Enough to attend shareholders' meetings, not enough to matter. They would attend. They always did. Free food, appearance of importance, networking opportunities. This year would be different. I arrived early, different hair, different clothes, professional, severe, unrecognizable as Eleanor Hutchins. I was now Eleanor Hartman, financial consultant from New York, here to observe. I sat in the back row, watched shareholders file in, watched the board take their seats at the front, watched my children arrive. Robert looked terrible, tired, stressed, like he hadn't slept in weeks. Jennifer was overdressed, designer everything, dripping in jewelry, performing wealth. Michael seemed uncomfortable, kept checking his phone, answering texts, distracted. The meeting started. The CEO gave his report. Strong quarter, positive outlook, shareholder value up. Then came new business. Martin stood. He was on the board, had been for 20 years. I have an announcement regarding company ownership. Everyone quieted. As you know, Eleanor Hutchins passed away 6 months ago. Her 60% stake in this company was distributed according to her will. My children perked up. This was news to them. The controlling stake has been transferred to a trust, managed by professional trustees, with one caveat. What caveat? Someone asked. The original owner retained the right to resume control should she choose to do so. Confused murmurs. Resume control? She's dead. Is she? Martin gestured to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to reintroduce Eleanor Hutchins. Alive, well, and very disappointed. I stood, removed my sunglasses, let them see my face. The room exploded. Gasps, shouts, chaos. My children went white, stood, stared. Mom, Jennifer whispered. I walked to the front of the room, took the microphone. Hello, everyone. As you can see, reports of my death were greatly exaggerated. But we buried you, Robert stammered. You buried a mannequin, well crafted, expensive, but not me. Why? Michael looked genuinely confused. Why would you fake your death? Because I wanted to see who you really were, what you'd do with my money, how you'd honor my memory. And? Jennifer's voice was small. And you failed. Spectacularly. I clicked a remote. A screen descended behind me. Video played, the toast on the yacht. To Mom, may she rest in peace and leave us in wealth. Jennifer buying a second yacht while complaining about the trust. Robert in a casino. Drunk, betting $50,000 on a single hand. Michael's penthouse tour for potential Airbnb renters. My mom just died, left me millions, figured I'd invest in real estate. 6 months of evidence, 6 months of waste, 6 months of forgetting me completely. When it ended, the room was silent. You watched us, Robert finally said. I watched you prove everything I feared, that you valued my money over my life, that you'd celebrate my death, that you'd waste your inheritance on ego and status. We didn't know. You didn't know I was watching, but you knew right from wrong. You chose wrong anyway. What happens now? Jennifer asked. Now I reclaim my company, revoke your board seats, terminate your employment, and rewrite my will. You can't. I absolutely can. This is my company, your minor shareholders, easily outvoted, and as of this moment, fired. Security appeared, flanked my children. Escort them out. They're no longer welcome here. Mom, please, Michael said. We can fix this. We can apologize. You can leave now, before I have you arrested for fraud. Fraud? You signed death benefit claims, collected insurance payouts from my life insurance policy. That's fraud. I can prosecute, or you can leave quietly and pray I'm feeling merciful. They left, escorted out by security, and I watched them go. The shareholders' meeting continued. I resumed my position as controlling shareholder. The board voted unanimously to restore my CEO status. Business as usual, except I was a ghost who'd come back to life. After the meeting, Martin found me in my office. That was brutal. They deserved it. Did they? They're your children. They wished for my death, toasted it, spent 6 months proving they didn't care about me, just my money. And now I rewrite my will, leave everything to charity. They get nothing. Eleanor, that's harsh. Is it? They showed me who they are. I'm simply responding accordingly. They'll contest it. Let them. I have 6 months of video evidence showing their true character. No judge will side with them. What about grandchildren? Do they have children? Robert has 1 son, estranged, hasn't seen him in 5 years. Jennifer has 2 daughters, spoiled, entitled, mini versions of her. Michael has no children. So your legacy ends with you. My legacy is the company, the charitable foundation, the scholarships, the research grants. That's what matters, not children who only loved me for my bank account. Martin nodded. I'll draft the new will. Thank you. Eleanor, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. No parent should have to learn their children are this shallow. I'm not sorry, I'm relieved. Better to know now than waste my actual remaining years pretending otherwise. My children tried to contact me, called, emailed, showed up at my house. I ignored them, changed my number, hired security, cut them off completely. Jennifer tried the hardest, sent letters, flowers, gifts. Mom, please, I know I messed up. I know I was awful, but I'm sorry, truly sorry. Can we talk, please? I sent back one response, handwritten. You toasted my death, spent 6 months proving you didn't love me. Words are cheap. Actions reveal truth. We have nothing to discuss. She stopped reaching out after that. Robert tried a different approach, threatened legal action, claimed elder abuse, mental incompetence, undue influence by Martin. I countered with fraud charges, the insurance payout, the false death claims, the forged signatures on various documents they'd prepared, assuming I was dead. He backed down. Michael sent one email, short, simple. I understand why you did it. I understand why you're angry. I don't blame you. I hope someday you can forgive us. But I understand if you can't. I'm sorry, Mom, for all of it. I almost responded. Almost. But then I remembered him on the yacht, smiling, toasting, celebrating my death like it was a lottery win. And I deleted the email. A year after my resurrection, Martin called. Eleanor, the new will is finalized. Do you want to review? Just tell me. Company ownership goes to a charitable trust, managed by a professional board, no family involvement. Good. Personal assets house, cars, jewelry, art, all to be auctioned. Proceeds to various charities, cancer research, scholarship funds, medical foundations. Good. And your children get nothing. Confirmed. They received nothing. Not even sentimental items, photos, family heirlooms. Nothing. Complete disinheritance. With a clause explaining why. The video evidence is attached. Anyone contesting the will must watch the videos first. See exactly why they were disinherited. Perfect. Eleanor, are you sure? This is permanent. I've never been more sure of anything. All right, sign here. I signed, dated, witnessed, done. My children were officially disinherited. Their inheritance, everything they'd waited for, planned for, celebrated my death for, was gone. Given to strangers, to charities, to causes that mattered, not to them, never to them again. 2 years after the resurrection, I'm still alive, still CEO, still building. The company is thriving, stock price at an all-time high, new products in development, expansion into international markets. I'm 77 now, healthy, active, probably have another decade or more. My children are struggling. Robert filed for bankruptcy last year. Gambling debts caught up with him, lost everything. Jennifer sold both yachts, the house, most of her jewelry, living in a modest condo, working as a real estate agent. Michael kept the penthouse but mortgaged it to the hilt, struggling to make payments. Might lose it soon. They email occasionally, asking for help, asking for money, asking for forgiveness. I don't respond because they taught me something valuable. That blood means nothing. That family is earned, not inherited. That love without respect is worthless. They loved my money. They never loved me. And I'm done pretending otherwise. My legacy will outlive me. The charitable trust, the scholarships, the medical research, the foundations, real impact, real change, real legacy. Not children who toasted my death and spent 6 months proving they didn't care. That's the ending, the real one. I died, came back, watched my children reveal their true selves, and I chose strangers over family, charity over blood, impact over inheritance. Because some betrayals are unforgivable. And wishing for your parents' death, toasting it, celebrating it, Spending as if it's already happened is one of them. They wanted me dead for $50 million. Instead, they got nothing, and I got the truth. Fair trade. The night after the shareholders' meeting, I couldn't sleep. The look on their faces kept replaying. Shock, horror, fear. They'd believed I was dead. Truly dead, had mourned, no, that's not accurate, had performed mourning, had played the role of grieving children while counting their inheritance. And I'd watched it all. Sarah, my assistant of 20 years, found me in my office at 2 a.m. Eleanor, you should be resting. I can't sleep. The meeting was brutal. You need time to process. I've had 6 months to process. I'm fine. You're not fine. You just publicly humiliated your children. They humiliated themselves. I simply provided the evidence. Sarah sat down. Do you regret it? Any of it? Did I? I thought about that carefully. I regret that it was necessary. I regret that I had children who valued money over their mother. But I don't regret exposing them. They needed to be exposed. What happens now? Now I rebuild. The company's fine. Stock's up. Board's stable. That's what matters. I meant with your children. There's nothing to rebuild there. They showed me who they are. I believe them. People can change. Can they? In 6 months, did any of them change? Did any of them visit my grave? Honor my memory? Do anything except spend money and complain about trust restrictions? No. Then what's there to rebuild? Sarah was quiet. Then, your grandson, Robert's son, did he know about any of this? Thomas? No. He's 23, lives in Seattle, works in tech, hasn't spoken to Robert in 5 years. He doesn't even know I died and came back. Maybe you should tell him. Why? Because he might be different. He might actually care. Or he might be another Robert, another disappointment. Or he might be his own person. You won't know unless you try. I thought about Thomas, Robert's son from his first marriage, the wife who'd left when she discovered the gambling, who'd taken Thomas and moved across the country, who'd raised him alone. I'd met Thomas a handful of times, quiet kid, smart, nothing like Robert, but I hadn't reached out after the death, hadn't thought about him during the planning. He was collateral damage in my scheme. I'll think about it, I told Sarah. Good, because Eleanor, you can't spend your last years alone and bitter. You've worked too hard to end up isolated. I'm not isolated. I have the company, the foundation. Work. That's not the same as family. Family is the one that betrayed me. Some of them, not all of them. Give Thomas a chance. I thought about that for days, weeks. Finally, I called him. Hello? Thomas, it's your grandmother, Eleanor. Long pause. Grandma Eleanor, I heard you died 6 months ago. Dad told me. I know. That's why I'm calling. I need to explain something. Can we talk? In person? I'm in Seattle. I'll fly there tomorrow. If you're available. You're really alive? Very much so. Dad's going to freak out when he finds out I know. Your father already knows. I revealed myself at the shareholders' meeting last week. The shareholders? What? Grandma, what's going on? It's complicated. Can I explain in person? Yeah, sure. I'm off tomorrow. We can meet for lunch. I flew to Seattle the next day. Met Thomas at a small restaurant near his apartment. He looked like Robert. Same jaw, same eyes, but different demeanor. Calmer, more centered. We ordered, made small talk. Then I told him everything. The overheard conversation, the fake cancer diagnosis, the staged death, the 6 months of surveillance, the resurrection. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he sat back, processed. Wow, that's one word for it. So you faked your death to see if Dad and his siblings would mourn you or just take the money? Yes. And they took the money. Enthusiastically. And you disinherited them. Completely. He nodded. Good. I was surprised. You think I did the right thing? I think they deserved it. Dad's a gambling addict, has been since I was a kid. That's why Mom left. He'd bet on anything, lost everything, then come home and blame us for his stress. I didn't know it was that bad. Because he hid it from you, performed responsibility, played the dutiful son. But he's never been responsible, never been dutiful. He's just been waiting for you to die so he could get your money and gamble it away. That's harsh. That's truth. Grandma, I love you, but I can't stand my father. Haven't spoken to him in 5 years, and based on what you're telling me, I made the right choice. He's still your father, biologically, not emotionally. He was never there, never cared, only ever called when he needed something. Like father, like son. What? Nothing. Just recognizing patterns. We ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Thomas spoke. So what happens now? With the money? The company? Company goes to a charitable trust. Personal assets auctioned for various causes. Nothing to Robert, Jennifer, or Michael. And me? I looked at him carefully. What about you? Am I in the will, or am I collateral damage in your revenge scheme? Fair question. Harsh, but fair. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Fair enough. Why? Are you hoping for inheritance? No, I make good money. I'm financially stable. I don't need your money. Then why ask? Because I want to know if you see me as separate from my father, or if I'm just Robert's son. Another disappointment waiting to happen. I thought about that, really thought. I see you as your own person, separate, different. But Thomas, I don't know you. We've met what, 5 times? 6? I can't judge your character from a few family dinners. Then let's fix that. Spend time together, get to know each other. No money, no expectations, just grandmother and grandson. Why? Because you're 77. You might have 10 years, maybe 20 if you're lucky, and I'm 23. I have my whole life ahead of me. But I only get one grandmother, and I'd like to know her before she actually dies. Something in my chest cracked. Not broke. Just softened. Okay. Okay? Yes. Let's get to know each other, properly this time. We started slowly. Monthly video calls, talking about life, work, his job at a tech startup, my company, his girlfriend, my foundation plans, no money talk, no inheritance discussions, just family. After 3 months, he flew to Florida, visited for a weekend, met Sarah, toured the company, saw my house. This is huge, he said, looking around. Too big for one person. I keep meaning to downsize, but never do. Why not? Inertia, comfort, fear of change. You should sell it, get something smaller, more manageable. Maybe. We cooked dinner together, something I hadn't done in years. He made pasta, I made salad. We ate on the terrace, watched the sunset. This is nice, he said. Peaceful. It is. Do you ever get lonely? Honest question, deserved honest answer. Yes, all the time, but loneliness feels better than being used. Is that what they did? Robert, Jennifer, Michael used you? For 40 years, I was an ATM, a safety net, a backup plan. Never just their mother. That sucks. It does. I'm not like that. I won't use you. I know. That's why you're here. Over the next year, Thomas became a regular presence. Visited quarterly, called weekly, sent random texts about his life. Included me, genuinely. And slowly I started trusting again. Not fully, not blindly, but cautiously, incrementally, Sarah noticed. You seem lighter. Do I? Yes, happier. Thomas is good for you. He is. He's nothing like his father. Thank God for small miracles. Indeed. Meanwhile, my 3 children continued their downward spirals. Robert's bankruptcy became public knowledge. Articles in the business press. Gambling scion loses everything. Schadenfreude at its finest. He called once, desperate. Mom, I need help. I'm losing my house, my car, everything. Please. No. Please. I'm your son. You were my son. Now you're a stranger who wished for my death. Find your own way. I'll die on the streets. Then die. I don't care anymore. I hung up, blocked his number. Harsh? Yes. Deserved? Also yes. Jennifer tried a different approach. Showed up at my house. Security stopped her at the gate. Ma'am, you're not on the approved list. I'm her daughter. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. She screamed, cried, made a scene. Security called police. She was escorted away, served with a restraining order the next day. She violated it twice. Both times resulted in arrests. Finally stopped. Michael took yet another approach. Went to the press. Billionaire mother fakes death to spite children, read the headline. The article painted me as cruel, vindictive, a monster mother punishing her children for being imperfect. It left out the part where they toasted my death, where they spent 6 months proving they didn't care, where they committed insurance fraud. I considered responding. Martin advised against it. Let them write what they want. Your reputation is solid. You have video evidence of their behavior. Anyone who matters knows the truth. But it's slander. It's his perspective, flawed, self-serving, but technically not false. You did fake your death to expose their true character, which you did successfully. The court of public opinion doesn't matter. What matters is that you're free. They're not. That's winning. He was right. I didn't respond. The story died within a week, but Michael didn't stop. He wrote a book, Dead Mother Walking, My Billionaire Mom's Cruel Resurrection. It was published by a small press, sold moderately, got mixed reviews. Compelling memoir of family dysfunction, said one. Self-pitying drivel from an entitled heir, said another. I read it, cover to cover. It was interesting. Michael painted himself as the victim, the misunderstood son, the one who truly loved me, who mourned genuinely, who was punished unfairly. He left out the yacht toast, the celebration, the 6 months of waste, the complete absence of actual grief, selective memory, convenient narrative, classic Michael. I considered suing for defamation. Sarah talked me out of it. Suing gives him publicity. Attention? That's what he wants. Ignore it. Let it fade. He's lying, publicly. And you have videos that prove it. If anyone asks, show them. Otherwise, ignore. I took her advice. Didn't sue, didn't respond. Let the book fade into obscurity. It did. Within 3 months, it was remaindered. Within 6, forgotten. Michael ended up in more debt from the book advance he spent before publication. Poetic justice. 2 years after the resurrection, the charitable foundation was thriving, funded 20 scholarships, supported 3 cancer research labs, donated to 15 medical nonprofits. Real impact, real change, better than any inheritance my children would have wasted. Thomas helped, volunteered at foundation events, served on the junior board, connected his tech network to our causes. He didn't ask for money, didn't expect special treatment, just showed up, contributed, cared. You know, I told him one day, you're everything I hoped my children would be. Thanks, Grandma. I mean it. You're kind, generous, authentic. You give without expecting return. I learned from watching Dad do the opposite. Still, you chose to be different. That matters. Are you going to put me in the will? Blunt question. Classic Thomas. Maybe. Why? Does it matter? Not really, but I'm curious. Do I represent a second chance? Or am I just another potential disappointment? Neither. You represent hope that not all family is toxic, that some relationships are real. Is that a yes? It's a maybe. Time will tell. He nodded. Fair enough. 3 years after the resurrection, I got a call from Robert's ex-wife, Thomas's mother, Linda. Eleanor, it's Linda. We need to talk. About? About Robert. He's in bad shape, homeless, addicted, living on the streets in Miami. Okay. Okay. That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? He made his choices. He's living with consequences. He's your son. Was, not anymore. Eleanor, I know what he did. Thomas told me about the death wish, the toast, all of it. And I agree. It was horrible. But he's still a human being. Still Thomas's father, still your child. He stopped being my child when he wished for my death. So you're just going to let him die? He's not dying. He's experiencing natural consequences. There's a difference. He's on the streets. He could freeze, overdose, get murdered. Is that what you want? What I want is irrelevant. He made his choices. He celebrated my fake death. He proved he valued money over mother. I'm simply honoring his priorities by withholding both. That's cold. That's justice. What would Thomas's grandfather say, your husband? Would he want this? Low blow, but effective. I thought about Thomas, my husband, dead 17 years. Good man, forgiving man, probably too forgiving. He'd tell me to help, to forgive, to give another chance. And he's dead, I'm alive. And I get to decide based on what I know, what I've seen, what I've lived. So that's a no. That's a no. Linda hung up. Angry, disappointed. I felt nothing, no guilt, no regret, just certainty. Robert had made his bed. Now he could lie in it. Literally. Thomas called later that week. Mom told me she called you about Dad. She did. Are you going to help him? No. Good. You agree? Dad had 50 chances. You gave him 49. Mom gave him the 50th. He wasted all of them. He doesn't deserve a 51st. He's your father, biologically, but he was never a dad, never present, never tried, just took. And when taking wasn't enough, he wished for your death so he could take more. That's not a father. That's a parasite. Harsh words. True words. Grandma, you did the right thing, cutting him off, disinheriting him, all of it. Some people can't be saved. Dad's one of them. You're very wise for 26. I learned from watching what not to do. Best teacher. Yep. Robert died 6 months later. Overdose, heroin laced with fentanyl. Found in an alley in Miami. Alone. No funeral. No service. County cremation. Ashes scattered in a municipal cemetery. I felt still nothing. No grief, no relief. Just acknowledgement that it was over. Thomas felt more. He was a bad father, but he was still my father. I'm sad. Not for who he was, for who he could have been. That's mature. That's realistic. He chose drugs, gambling, selfishness. Those choices killed him, not you, not me, him. Thank you for saying that. It's true. Jennifer and Michael sent identical texts. Dad died. Thought you should know. No emotion. No invitation to funeral, there wasn't one. No attempt to reconcile, just information. I responded to both. Acknowledged. That was all. We'd said everything that needed saying 3 years ago. 4 years after the resurrection, I revised my will. Final version. Thomas was included, $10 million. Restricted trust until he turned 35. Managed by professionals. The rest, approximately $100 million, after company equity and personal assets, went to the charitable foundation. Nothing to Jennifer, nothing to Michael, nothing to their children, just Thomas. And charity. Martin read it carefully. You're sure? Completely. Jennifer and Michael will contest. Let them. I have video evidence. They committed fraud. They wished for my death. No court will side with them. And Thomas? 10 million is generous, but it's not equal treatment. Thomas earned it by being present, by being real, by giving without expectation. The others earned nothing. Fair enough. I signed, dated, filed, done. My legacy was set. Foundation for strangers, money for Thomas, nothing for Jennifer and Michael. Perfect. 5 years after the resurrection, I'm 82, slowing down. Arthritis is worse. Blood pressure managed with medication, but still sharp, still capable, still CEO. The company's thriving, stock at record highs, new products launching, international expansion successful. The foundation funded 50 scholarships this year, supported 6 cancer research centers, donated to 23 medical nonprofits. Real impact, real legacy. Thomas visits monthly now, brings his wife married 2 years ago, I attended, soon bringing grandchildren, hopefully. He's different, everything Robert wasn't. Present, honest, genuine. He asked once if I ever regretted the resurrection. Do you? He asked. The resurrection? No. Finding out the truth? Also no. Knowing was better than wondering. Even though the truth hurt? Especially because it hurt. Pain is information. It told me everything I needed to know. And Jennifer and Michael? Any regrets there? None. They showed me who they were. I believed them. That's not regret. That's wisdom. Cold wisdom. Effective wisdom. He laughed. Fair enough. Jennifer emails occasionally, pleading, desperate, asking for help. I delete unread. Michael stopped trying, lives off book residuals, works part-time, broke, bitter. Neither will be at my actual funerals. Neither will inherit. Neither matters. My children wished for my death to collect $50 million. They got nothing, lost everything, destroyed themselves with greed. And I got 5 extra years. 5 years of clarity, of authentic relationships, of Thomas, of foundation work, of real legacy. Fair trade. When I actually die, and I will eventually, my assets go to charity. My company becomes a trust. My foundation continues. And 3 people get nothing because they toasted my death, celebrated it, proved they never loved me, just my money. And money without love is worthless. I learned that, finally. After 77 years, after faking my death, after watching my children reveal themselves. I learned, and that's the real ending. Not resurrection, education, not revenge, clarity, not punishment, truth. They wanted me dead. I obliged, watched, learned, decided, and when I came back, I knew exactly what to do, cut them off. Fund charity, love Thomas, build legacy, simple, clean, fair. The years passed. I watched my children from a distance, not engaging, just observing, like watching a car crash in slow motion. Jennifer lost her real estate license. Too many complaints, misrepresenting properties, lying to clients, desperate for commissions. She moved into a studio apartment. Subsidized housing. The woman who'd owned 2 yachts now lived in 400 square feet. Poetic justice. Michael's book faded completely. He tried writing a second one. The Resurrection, A Son's Perspective. No publisher would touch it. Self-published. Sold maybe 200 copies. He blamed me publicly. Twitter rants, Facebook posts, blog entries. My mother is a sociopath who destroyed her children for entertainment. Billionaire Eleanor Hutchins gets joy from watching her family suffer. I hope she dies soon so we can finally move on. That last one was ironic. Still wishing for my death. Still blaming me for his failures. I screenshot it, added it to the evidence file, just in case. Sarah read the posts. Do you want me to respond? Defend you? No. Let him scream into the void. Nobody's listening. Some people are. He has 12,000 followers. 12,000 people who don't matter. Let them think what they want. Doesn't it bother you, being called a sociopath? By a man who toasted my death? No. His opinion is worthless. You're remarkably unbothered. I'm remarkably free. There's a difference. Thomas graduated to senior developer at his company. Big promotion, significant raise, bought a house in Seattle, 2 bedrooms, modest, well within his means, nothing like his father. Everything I'd hoped a grandchild could be. He called to tell me about the house. Grandma, I bought a house. That's wonderful. Tell me about it. 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms. Needs some work, but it's solid. And Grandma, I bought it with my own money. No help, no loans beyond the mortgage. All me. Pride in his voice, genuine pride and self-reliance. I'm so proud of you. Thanks. I learned from watching Dad do everything wrong. He taught me how not to live. Best education. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and Grandma, Sarah's pregnant. Sarah was his wife. Wonderful woman, kind, smart, independent, perfect for him. Pregnant? Thomas, that's amazing. When? Due in 6 months. We just found out. You're going to be a great-great-grandmother. Great-great-grandmother. I was 82. The math worked, but still felt surreal. Do you know if it's a boy or girl? Not yet, too early, but honestly, we don't care. Healthy is all that matters. Smart attitude. Learned from you. I doubt that. I was never around when you were young. No, but you're around now, and you're showing me what real family looks like. Supportive without being controlling, generous without strings, present without smothering. That's the grandmother I'm going to tell my kid about. Something in my chest cracked. Not pain, emotion, deep, overwhelming. Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, Grandma, for giving me a chance, for seeing me as separate from Dad, for being real. You made it easy. So did you. Thomas's daughter was born in March. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Healthy, perfect. They named her Eleanor after me. I flew to Seattle to meet her, held her. This tiny human carrying my name, representing a future I thought was lost. She's beautiful, I said. She is, Sarah agreed, and she's lucky. She gets to know her great-great-grandmother. That's rare. I'll try to stick around as long as possible. We're counting on it. I visited monthly after that. Watched baby Eleanor grow, crawl, walk, talk. She called me G.G. Great-grandma, close enough. On her second birthday, she gave me a drawing, crayon scribbles, probably meant to be a flower. For you, Gigi. I hung it in my office, right next to my business awards and honorary degrees. Crayon scribbles from a toddler, worth more than any corporate recognition. Meanwhile, Jennifer made one final attempt at reconciliation. She showed up at the foundation gala, $500 a plate fundraiser. She couldn't afford it. Someone must have bought her ticket. She approached me during cocktail hour. Mom, I turned, saw her, older, harder, worn down by years of consequences. Jennifer, can we talk? We have nothing to discuss. Please, 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. I looked at my watch. You have 3. We stepped onto the terrace, away from guests, private. I'm sorry, she said, for everything. The toast, the celebration, the 6 years of proving I didn't care, all of it. I'm sorry. 6 years? You mean 6 months? No, 6 years. Because the truth is, I stopped caring long before you faked your death. I stopped caring when I realized you'd never just give me money without conditions, without lectures, without making me feel small. I never made you feel small. You did. Every time you said no. Every time you told me I was irresponsible. Every time you made me explain why I needed help. You made me feel like a failure. You made yourself a failure. I just refused to subsidize it. See? That right there. You can't help yourself. You have to get the dig in, have to make me feel lesser. I'm stating facts. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. Jennifer, you came here to apologize, but you're actually blaming me for setting boundaries, for refusing unlimited funding, for expecting responsibility. I just wanted you to love me. I did love you. I gave you everything: education, opportunities, jobs, money, years of support. What more could I have given? Unconditional acceptance. I gave you unconditional love, not unconditional funding. There's a difference. Not to me. And there it was, the fundamental disconnect. To Jennifer, love equaled money. Without money, there was no love. Then we're done here. Mom, please. Your 3 minutes are up. Leave now, or I'll have security escort you out. She left, crying, making a scene, playing victim to the end. I watched her go, felt nothing, no guilt, no regret, no second thoughts, just certainty that I'd made the right choice. 6 years ago, and every day since. Sarah found me on the terrace. And was that Jennifer? Briefly. What did she want? Absolution. Money. Same thing she's always wanted. And I gave her neither. Good. You deserve better than performative apologies from people who want your money. Agreed. The gala raised $2 million that night, funded 10 new scholarships, supported 3 research labs, real impact, better than any reconciliation with Jennifer could have provided. When I turned 85, Thomas threw me a party. Small, intimate, 30 people, close friends, foundation board members, Sarah, the assistant, Martin, the lawyer, Thomas, his wife Sarah, and little Eleanor, no Jennifer, no Michael, no extended family, just people who actually cared. We ate cake, told stories, laughed. Little Eleanor, now 5, sang me happy birthday. Off-key, enthusiastic, perfect. Speech, someone called. I stood, looked around at these people, this chosen family. I'm 85 today. Statistically, I probably have 5 to 10 years left. Maybe less, maybe more if I'm lucky. Nervous laughter. I've spent my life building a company, a fortune, a legacy. But for most of that life, I built for the wrong people, for children who saw me as an ATM, who waited for my death like it was a lottery. Uncomfortable silence. Then I faked my death, watched them celebrate, spent 6 months learning who they really were. And when I came back, I made different choices, better choices. I looked at Thomas. I chose authenticity over blood, Thomas over Robert, charity over entitlement. And I'd make those same choices again, every time. To Eleanor, someone said. To Eleanor, they echoed. We drank, we celebrated, not my death, my life, my choices, my real family. That night, Sarah, the assistant, asked if I ever wondered what if. What if what? What if you'd never faked your death? Never found out about the toast, never disinherited them? What if you'd just given them the money when you actually died? I thought about it. They would have wasted it, burned through 50 million in 5 years, ended up broke anyway. And I would have died thinking they loved me, lived in delusion, never knowing the truth. Is knowing better? Always. Delusion is comfortable, truth is freeing. I'll take freedom over comfort every time. Even when truth hurts? Especially when it hurts. Pain is information. It tells you what matters, what's real, what's worth keeping. And what was worth keeping? Thomas, the foundation, my actual friends, people who saw me as Eleanor, not as a bank account with a heartbeat. You're remarkably at peace. I'm remarkably honest. Finally, after 85 years. Better late than never. Exactly. I made it to 87, healthy, active, still CEO in title, though I'd handed day-to-day operations to younger leadership. The company was thriving. Stock at all-time highs, revenue growing, employees happy. The foundation had funded 300 scholarships, supported 15 cancer research centers, donated to 60 medical nonprofits. Real legacy, real impact. Thomas visited weekly now, brought Eleanor, sometimes Sarah. Family dinners became tradition. Little Eleanor, now 7, would tell me about school, friends, books she was reading. Gigi, I'm reading Charlotte's Web. That's wonderful. Do you like it? I love it, except the part where Charlotte dies. That made me cry. Death is sad, but Charlotte lived a good life, made a difference, left a legacy. That's what matters. Do you think about dying, Gigi? Sometimes, but not with fear, with curiosity, wondering what comes next. What do you think comes next? I don't know. Maybe nothing, maybe everything, but I've lived a good life, made a difference, built a legacy. Like Charlotte, so I'm ready whenever it happens. I don't want you to die. I don't want to die either, but someday I will, and when I do, you'll remember me. Tell stories about me, keep me alive in memory. That's all any of us can ask for. She hugged me, tight. 7-year-old certainty that hugs can fix everything. I hugged back, knowing they can't, but appreciating the gesture anyway. On my 88th birthday, I revised my will one final time. Thomas's share increased to 15 million. Eleanor's education fully funded. Sarah Thomas's wife added for 1 million. The rest, approximately 150 million after asset appreciation, to the foundation. Nothing to Jennifer, nothing to Michael. Complete disinheritance. Permanent, final. Martin reviewed it. This is it? Final version? Final version. No last-minute forgiveness, no deathbed reconciliation. None. They showed me who they were. I believe them. I'm not changing my mind. Jennifer's been sober for 2 years, working a legitimate job, attending therapy. Good for her. Doesn't change what she did, doesn't erase the toast, doesn't undo 6 months of celebration. People can change, Eleanor. Can they? Or do they just become better at performing change? Either way, I don't care. My decision is made. Okay, I'll file it. Thank you, Martin, for everything, for 45 years of legal work, for helping me fake my death, for supporting my choices. You made it easy. You're the most interesting client I've ever had. I'll take that as a compliment. It is one. We shook hands. Two old lawyers who'd built empires and burned bridges. Perfect partnership. I'm 88 now, slowing down significantly. Can't work full days anymore, nap frequently, forget things sometimes, but still here, still sharp enough to matter, still making decisions. The foundation just funded its 500th scholarship. Student from poverty, brilliant, determined, getting a full ride to MIT. Real impact, real change, better than any inheritance my children would have wasted. Jennifer tried one more time last month. Letter, handwritten, 10 pages, apologies, explanations, promises to do better. Please forgive me. Please include me in the will. Please give me another chance. I read it, every word, then filed it away. Didn't respond, because words are meaningless. Actions revealed truth. And her actions, 6 months of celebration, 6 years of entitlement, spoke clearly. No amount of apologetic letters changes that. Michael gave up completely, lives off disability now. Mental health claims, depression, anxiety, caused by maternal abandonment. Blaming me to the end. Fine, let him. Doesn't affect me, doesn't change my choices. Doesn't matter. I'm dying soon. I know it, feel it. 88 is old. Borrowed time. Every day is a gift. But I'm not afraid. Not anymore. I've done everything I wanted, built everything that mattered, left a legacy that will outlive me. The company will continue. The foundation will expand. Thomas will raise Eleanor with real values, real love, real family, and Jennifer and Michael will get nothing, exactly what they deserve. When I actually die, really die this time, there will be a funeral. Big, public, proper. Jennifer and Michael will attend. They'll cry, perform grief, play devastated children, but Thomas will speak the truth. We'll tell stories about chosen family, about real love, about grandmother who valued authenticity over blood. And when the will is read, when they discover they're disinherited, when they realize every penny goes to charity and Thomas, they'll scream, rage, threaten lawsuits. But Martin will show the videos, the toast, the celebration, the 6 months of evidence, and no court will side with children who wished for their mother's death, who toasted it, who celebrated it. Justice, finally, permanently. I faked my death once to expose them. Now I'll die for real to complete their punishment. Perfect symmetry. My children wished for my death to collect $50 million. They got nothing, lost everything, destroyed themselves. I got 8 extra years. 8 years of clarity. Of Thomas, of Eleanor, of real family, of authentic legacy, fair trade, better than fair, perfect. And when I'm gone, when I'm actually dead, when there's no resurrection, they'll finally understand what they lost, what they threw away, what they could have had. Too late by then, but understanding nonetheless. That's the real ending, the actual final chapter. Not resurrection, completion. Not revenge, justice, not punishment, consequences. They wanted me dead. I obliged, came back, watched, learned, decided. Now I'm actually dying. For real this time, and they get nothing, as it should be. Last week, little Eleanor asked me a question. Gigi, when you die, will you come back like you did before? No, sweetheart, that was a special circumstance. When I die for real, I stay dead. That's sad. It's natural. Everyone dies eventually. It's what we do while we're alive that matters. What did you do while you were alive? I built things, a company, a foundation, a family. The real kind, made of love, not just blood. I learned who mattered, who was real, who deserved my time. And my daddy matters? Your daddy matters most. He's everything I hoped my children would be. Kind, honest, authentic. He's my greatest pride. What about your other children? Grandpa Robert and Aunt Jennifer and Uncle Michael. They taught me important lessons, too, about what happens when you value money over people, when you wish for death over life, when you take without giving. That's sad. It is, but it's also freeing, because I learned to let go, to build family from choice instead of obligation, to value real love over fake performances. I love you, Gigi. I love you too, sweetheart, more than you know. She hugged me, ran off to play, and I sat there thinking about legacy, not money, not buildings, not company stock, but moments like this, with a child who loves me genuinely, who'll remember me fondly, who'll tell her children about Gigi. That's legacy. That's immortality, not wishes for death, not toasts to inheritance, not 50 million wasted on yachts, but love, real love, given freely, returned authentically. My children never understood that. Maybe they never could. But Thomas did. Eleanor does. And that's enough. More than enough. It's everything. I'm 88 years old. I faked my death at 75, exposed my children, disinherited them, rebuilt my life around truth. And in 8 years, I've lived more authentically than in the previous 75. That's the lesson, the final one. Life begins when you stop pretending, when you cut out the toxic, when you choose truth over comfort. Even if truth means discovering your children wished you dead. Even if truth means being alone except for one grandson. Even if truth means admitting you wasted decades on people who didn't deserve you. Truth is still worth it. Always. I'll die soon. Peacefully, I hope. Surrounded by people who actually love me, and when I'm gone, the foundation will continue, the scholarships will flow, the research will advance. Real impact. Real legacy. Real immortality. Better than 50 million in the hands of children who toasted my death. Better than anything I could have given them. This is how it ends. How it should end. Truth, choice, consequences, legacy, everything that matters, everything that lasts. My children wished for my death. I gave them what they wanted and took away everything they expected. Fair? Just? Perfect.